are in the building back for
And this
Men's
is
Truth, baby.
Men's Truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
tuning in. I'm Brick, and this is
I'm Kev, man. We are in this thing live, baby.
Yeah.
You know, man, I'm so grateful every time we step into this space, man. Every time we come into the room, if you only understood that we have a purpose when we step in here, man, and that's first and foremost to give God the glory. And second is for God to use us to help somebody else. But y'all got to understand, we don't have all the answers. So sometimes God is using us through us to help us.
To help us?
Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. Sometimes God is using us to help us. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that, man. So grateful for the people that continuously come back and tune in. So grateful for the new people that are about to tune in as we continue to do great things,
Welcome.
If we had a win to give, that would be it. Just to be in this space, man, to give God all the glory. Again, thank you again for tuning in on Men's Truth. We got a special guest today, and I'm telling you, man, we finna put him up on this thing. He came in. Hey, look, bro, they say big energy. He came in with big energy, baby. I feel the big energy, and we about to have a good show today. Yeah. I ain't even gonna wait to bring him on.
I ain't gonna wait. Look, let's go.
We gonna do it just like this. I want to give honor to our guest.
Yes,
the face in front and behind a dope apparel called Father Figure Apparel, baby.
Yes.
Hey, man, it is so fire. It is so dope. Yeah. I'm talking about shirts and sweatpants and everything you name. Shorts. Man, hey, man, he got a fire apparel line. Without further ado, we gonna dive right into his story because it's something else I found out about in his story, but I wanted to come and tell y'all about it. Hey, without further ado, baby, give love to our guest, Mr. Reggie George. Welcome, baby.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, baby?
Man, I'm great, bro. First of all, man, I'm honored to be in front of men of God, man, but I'm also honored to be on your show, man, just because I've seen firsthand how impactful it is, man. Yeah. So you guys, man, I'm honored to be here, bro.
Appreciate it.
Ready to go. Let's go.
Let's go.
You heard him behind the camera.
Hold on, let me see. Get that $100, man. We gotta give him this $100. Hey, man, we grateful to have you, bro. Like we said, man, we do a little piece of our segment before we get into the meat and potatoes, man. We just gonna dive straight into this sports recap. I don't know if you're a sports fan or not.
100%.
Huh? Oh, because wait a minute.
We sport guys. We sport guys. You see me rocking today. I'm gonna go ahead and start out. No need to introduction. Michigan men, stand up. Woo, woo, woo. He'll be talking about my shirt being Notre Dame, but
I wasn't gonna say it.
You know what I mean? We represent Men's Truth, but I'm also representing the Big M today, bro.
Hey, alumni in the building.
Hats off to those guys going in the draft. Man, I was
actually go straight to the draft.
I'm going to all of it, bro.
All right, go ahead.
I gotta take my little bros.
Hey, man.
I was excited for the first time. You know what I mean? Since the time I was in the draft.
Okay.
These young guys have been stand up across the board, man. These guys, everybody just talking about them. How they're disciplined, how they handle their manners, they work hard. Man, you gotta give them some respect right there. So, those guys got drafted, man. I wish I will. I wish longevity in the NFL because it don't last for long. But, for the families, just to see the expression on the families' faces for any of those guys being drafted, man, it took me back. It took me all the way back.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you, man, them boys be fly as that one thing, boy. Man, them boys be, the only thing, boy, them ankles are starting to get exposed a little bit too much more. Every year, man, it's like the pants go high.
We almost in shorts now.
I'm like, good God, man. Boy, you about 6'5", man.
6'5",
on the side. The length is about a 25 on them pants, man.
But they should be extra long, though.
Yeah, man. At a size 15, man, I see your whole calf muscle, man.
I'm glad you said that because I wasn't going to say it.
Hey, for real, man. But, man, shout out, of course, to the number one pick, Caleb Williams. The kid looked like he's fired up, ready to go, man.
Did you see the way that they did the draft where once you get off stage, they take you to another screen and your teammates are live?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
that took
Hey, you can't tell me they ain't pump you up,
that
bro.
took me right there. I said, man, if we could have did one of those back in the days, man, that let you know your support system has been there, man.
Yeah,
that was dope.
Yeah.
To NFL Network, that was dope, man.
Man, so
I love that.
I gotta ask you, man, what was your favorite pick?
Marvin Harrison, bro. Marvin Harrison.
That was the obvious pick.
That was obvious, but the one that wasn't obvious, Penix.
Man, come on, why you gotta steal my thunder, man?
Penix.
I knew where I wanted to go.
I had to go
He knew
there.
where I wanted to go, man.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch the draft, man?
Nah, I did. I watched the first 2 rounds. Everything else, man, I kind of
You can't follow that.
kept
Yeah.
up with it on social media, on the internet.
Yeah.
But nah, Penix was definitely, and I'm not even gonna say really an unorthodox pick. I think when they picked him was unorthodox. You know what I'm saying? I could see him going to Atlanta and kind of either competing or sitting behind Cousins.
Yeah.
But picking him at 8 was what I felt like was a little bit unorthodox, just because
I feel
like they were saying with Kirk Cousins and his camp, man. They were kind of
feels
perplexed, you know what I'm saying? But I do think they had an opportunity to get better for this coming year.
Yeah.
But I like the way that they structuring things for the future.
Yeah.
Too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no
gotta
backup. There's no true backup behind Cousins. So you're putting somebody back there to go.
And Cousins
Got
is
some weapons.
coming off of a significant injury
Exactly.
that sidelined him the whole entire season last year and changed almost everything in Minnesota when he went down.
100%. And it's like the Steelers are doing, man. You see the Steelers with Russell Wilson and bringing the young boy over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's about now.
I
and
think Phil's going to eventually get that job, man, and he's got something to prove now.
Yeah.
He got a chip on his shoulder.
Well, see,
now, for
he's
real.
with the right coach. Finally with the right coach.
Yeah.
Where he's going to be able to develop, and he's about to be a monster.
I
Yeah.
agree.
About to be a monster. He's going to look like your boy down here with the Texans.
Think so? Or CJ?
Stroud,
Yeah, he's gonna be better though, because remember they played
wait
me.
up.
He's gonna be better than me.
What?
Yeah.
Man, you better put some respect on CJ
I'm
name,
not
bro.
taking it away from him,
What?
but they played the same position at the same school. Who won the position first?
CJ is way better than Justin Fields, bro.
CJ is good, but you haven't seen Fields with the right coach.
And
With
one
the right-
thing
I played against him, so I know.
And the thing about the Steelers, man, is culture. You know what I'm saying? Once you get planted in the right culture,
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
think Fields will look like. I think Fields is a great quarterback
Yeah.
too. I think Chicago just did him a disservice.
Yeah.
Because
I
you're
agree.
looking at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams got more right now
Man,
than Fields
Talk
ever got
about it. That's
while he was
real.
actually in the locker room.
Yeah.
You know?
They stacked that box now.
man. Hey, bro, they went out and of course got a veteran in Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
They brought Swift from the Eagles over, my Eagles.
That's-
They brought Swift over.
At the backfield.
They already had DJ Moore. You know? So, I mean, they did. They gave him some help, man.
It was
Hey,
there.
man, you know, man, them Eagles, let's talk about it. They got better. We did.
How would you rate the draft pick?
A plus. A plus.
A plus.
I said it. The media said it. The world said it.
Here we
I tell you what, who didn't get down in the draft?
What?
Them Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Well, how did he drop that, man?
Jerry Jones.
He just need to move out the way.
Jerry Jones. Hey, man, Jerry Jones. Hey, man, I hate to say it. As funny as it is, I got to keep it 100, man. Hey, Jerry Jones is the greatest businessman, business-minded man in the world. Because, bro, he can dangle this little fake fruit in front of the fan's face, and they will bite or try to get it. And like, oh, he thought you had it. Maybe next time. And guess what? This year, they're going to sell out season tickets again.
Yeah.
And he didn't add nothing. He lost more than he's ever lost in his whole entire stint as the owner.
Yeah.
And he'll still have the support of the fan base.
He got weapons already though.
And guess what? He got the support of the fan base. And guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be on the side with my Eagles green on, laughing like he got y'all again. But I ain't going to diss y'all, Cow. We got Cowboy fans. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you about to get death. You about to get
I'm
death
sorry.
threats.
Right.
Hey, boy, them Cowboy fans run deep, man. I'm just, hey,
All with pom-poms outside. Death threats right there.
Hey, man, but before we transition, man, I got to give a shout out to though, man, because I've been talking about Penix, man. I know you talked a little bit about him. Man, they doubted the young bull.
Yeah.
This dude was putting up numbers. Clearly the best statistical quarterback in the draft, other than my guy from LSU, who is nasty to me.
Daniels.
Probably the best quarterback in the draft, Daniels. That's my personal opinion. But Penix, to me, was number 2. This dude been balling. With Washington, man. He took Washington to a natty, man. He just ran up against the number 1 defense.
Yeah.
And they was coming for him.
Yeah, they shouldn't put him down just off of one
so
game. Yeah.
One man, he had an average game, one average game.
One game, yeah.
And he still put up, about 300 plus?
Yeah, he was still killing.
At one average game, man. He been torching everybody all season. So I'm glad he went in the top 10, man.
Man, it was happy to see his family.
Yeah.
I seen his family before they played Michigan.
Absolutely.
And it took me back to how the family matters, man, the support system.
Man, the support system, man.
And they were there deep, like 25 deep, following him everywhere he went.
It takes a village, bro.
And then just to see him succeed and the family being there to support, man, that's what's going to lift you to the next level even more. Because you're going to feel that weight behind you.
Absolutely.
So
I love it.
hats off to Penix.
Yeah.
Getting picked up, he deserved it, bro. All those injuries,
for
playing
real.
at IU, back, and then just turn around, boom.
Yeah.
Right place.
Man.
Just like I said. So
I was really impressed with this draft, man. This was a great draft class.
it's probably one of the
I can't
best
wait to
drafts.
see next year, man, because we got Shador possibly coming out. We got Travis Hunter possibly coming out. So I'm curious to see what Colorado is building, man. They had one kid that went undrafted, number 10. He went undrafted. He ended up
I was
getting.
about to ask you.
He got picked up by Arizona.
You better ball out.
Yeah, man. So Arizona and that kid, he's a burner,
That's the
man.
wide receiver, right?
That was a receiver. I can't think of his name, man. Unfortunately,
He was cold.
But yeah. To add him along with Marvin Harrison, man, Kyler Murray, he getting some weapons that he need, man. So let's talk about a little basketball real quick, man, before we get into our guests, man. It's playoff time, man.
We ain't looking too good Lakers wise.
You got to start there, man.
Hey,
Go right into
Hey,
it.
man, be
listen,
your
man,
own
these
little
old
brother,
heads,
man.
these old heads, man, these young boys transitioning them, whether they want to or not. It's like again, man. You see with Curry at the crib, now KD at the crib, LeBron about to be at the crib.
Oh, man, don't say
You know
that.
what I'm saying? Like,
Start a home Olympic team.
there we
Hey,
go.
man, I'm still holding on, man, for my Lakers, man. I can't give up, man. Tonight, I need y'all, man. I need y'all
Hey,
to.
when this
need y'all to
airs,
put
when
these
this airs on Friday, we're gonna see if he's gonna be crying.
gonna
We're gonna have to edit this out. We're gonna have to edit this part.
Like cut. Cam's crying now, and on Friday.
Hey, man, all reality, it's not like Brian getting whooped, though, man. It's like we've been in every single game. And somehow, like the last 10 minutes, they say, all right, we done. We don't want to play no more.
That's when
And they lose it.
They need that hot ice, icy hot on the sideline. They need to
Man.
start rubbing on something.
Man, I be seeing Brian on the side rocking back and forth, rubbing his knees. Knees, man.
And then to get matched up with Denver in the first round, man. Like I don't. And again, I'm not telling them to throw no games. Or, like if you get into that playoff game or the play-in game, I don't know why you want to win that first play-in game to get matched up with Denver in the first round anyway.
I think they might have been more worried about Curry. Because, man, that Warriors team can get hot.
Or
and that
Oklahoma
would've bounced
City.
them. I wasn't worried about Oklahoma City.
Well, they might. I'm saying that you.
I think the Lakers would have matched up better with Oklahoma City than they are with Denver. It's just something about
Yeah,
Denver.
yeah.
But maybe they looked at it, if we can get them now, we got a better chance of getting to the championship. Mind you, bro, they went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Let's not forget the Lakers was there. They were right there.
It doesn't matter if they was there.
Hey, man.
You gotta finish.
And bro, you got to think with all the miles on LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I want this as a first round matchup.
I agree,
and
man.
then have to go through 3 more rounds of playoffs.
You're right, man. That's the most uneasy part of it, man. It's because, man, Denver is tough, man. They're physical. They want to bang. They pass the ball, and they play just as hard on defense. Those guys are tall, they're big, they're long, they're rangy. I mean, the smallest person is Jamal Murray, man, and he want LeBron. Hey, come here, come and get this work.
Yeah.
So here's the thing I'm saying. Lakers got a bench, right?
Yeah.
Are they really using it?
They are, but the problem is not the bench, man. It's LeBron when he get in the fourth quarter and he don't want to,
give him a short little break to get his energy back.
LeBron been getting breaks, bro. I would defend him if I could. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm sitting there watching. I'm watching Brian take off on defense like, hey, you switch, and then getting mad when they don't switch. Man, him and Austin Reeves, man, almost got into it in the last game. He yelled at Austin Reeves to switch, and that was his play. Austin Reeves, like, bro, that was your player that just hit that shot. You can't just sit there and camp in the middle, man, and only want to play offense, man, especially against a team like Denver that's going to constantly
That's
move
what I'm
the
saying.
ball
So
around.
moving around different breaks for him to be that go-to guy in the fourth quarter is what you need.
Yeah.
That's where your bench come in, overall. So get in there and see what we can do from that.
Yeah. I definitely like the fact, though, man, that when it comes to my Lakers, I don't think we out. I really don't. I think we got something still, man. I think we got a game 7 in us. Please, Lord. I think we got a game 7 in us, man. I'm saying it right now. LeBron, you did it before. I know you might have been.
Are you praying?
Hey, man, something like
I
that.
had to really start. I had to help
Something
you.
like that.
We need some music to tune in right here.
Hey, you a lousy friend, man.
Hey, man, your hands is like
Yeah,
this,
man.
though. You real tight
Hey,
right
man,
now.
listen. I want LeBron to get the opportunity to win another championship. He already accomplished something that ain't been accomplished, and ain't nobody talking about it. Well, he accomplished a lot of things, but the first in-season championship, we did win that this season. I mean, but
what if he, maybe just
so
waiting
why
on his
not?
son?
Huh?
Maybe he's just waiting on his son to do it with him.
Man, his son, that's a whole nother conversation. That boy, if he really waiting on his son, he might as well go on and retire.
He go and retire.
Because that brother is not a bucket, unfortunately.
He's a team player. Just add him in the mix somewhere. Passing the ball.
You don't even believe that.
Hey, no, the second one. Oh, he a beast.
Yeah.
He a
Bryce.
beast. Yeah,
Bryce is.
You ain't
And
seen
he
him play?
young. He only a freshman right now,
ain't
man.
seen
So
him
I have, man. I have, man. I seen him play in person.
He was good.
I seen, man. See the difference
No,
between
recently played.
the difference between LeBron and his kids is this, man. LeBron is from the hood. He from nothing. He played in high school like he was from the hood, like he was from nothing, like he was trying to get his mama from off, them couple jobs.
Yeah.
These kids are just happy to play basketball. They happy to be LeBron kids.
Yeah.
And you can see that they got all the natural ability, but they ain't got that dog in them,
It
man.
goes back to what we were talking about last week. Do we, overshadow our kids now from the experience of life by giving them everything so they don't have to experience us coming up from the hood and all those things, So now they act different.
Yeah, I think we still should expose them to the struggle, not necessarily the struggles of poverty or the struggles of the projects, but I'm saying the struggles of having to earn something. See, that's the only thing about LeBron being almost a billionaire, man. Yeah. His kids don't really have to. You even looking at them bouncing around from high school to high school and jumping over, or even like Bronny entering the portal, like they're used to. And it's the AAU culture too, but they used to looking for the best opportunity instead of earning the best opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, even with Deion, man, I think Deion brings it up a lot, is that when his boys was in high school, he made sure they didn't live in the hood, but we still played in the hood.
Still played in the hood.
We still made sure we put the hood teams on the schedule.
Yep.
So now you expose them to different things and say, listen, man, if you really want to get to the highest level, them the cats you gonna meet there.
For real.
Like all these private school kids and all these charter school kids, like, man, they cool.
For real.
But when you get to the highest level, them the dogs that's gonna meet you there. Now, you might take two different paths.
Yeah.
But if you don't expose them to that, they'll get to a level to where they taper off because the dogs have a different work ethic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
when the talent tapers off, now it's about like, okay, who
grit.
who
They
got
gritty,
something
like,
to dig into?
Yeah,
Who
they
got
griminess.
something?
Yeah.
There you go.
For real.
And what it is, even from a parental standpoint, I think that's a hard, sweet spot to find.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Real talk.
Because of sometimes we look at the struggle and what we might have dealt with as negative, but again, all of us are products of that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we still got to make sure our kids are product of more than just our handout.
Man, that's good. That's good. That's perfect, man. Actually, man, it sets us up, man. I love that to the point of where we going with this show.
Yeah.
I love it, man. You know, good luck to everybody else in the playoffs, but this is what we here for, baby. This is what we came for. Man, we already introduced my brother.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dive into his life, into his story, man, and why he is wanted in so many different places to speak, to talk. Man, we're about to give you liberty, man, to have your way, man, and speak from your heart. But first and foremost, we want to know, they want to know, who is Mr. Reggie George? Where did you come from? What's your upbringing?
Yeah.
Tell us about how it all started.
Man, Reggie is a 47-year-old husband, man. Reggie's a father, man. I'm a son. I'm a grandson. And I think we talked about it earlier, man. I'm a military brat, man. My father was in the Army for 27, 28 years.
Wow.
I'm a product of, again, I'm an ex-athlete, man, and sports fanatic, man. But more than anything, man, just a child of God into a man of God, man.
Yeah.
And again, we talking about what we was, with the kids, our experiences, and especially for me, have shaped who I am now. Man, I listen to Dr. Miles Monroe a lot, man, and he says adversity introduces a man to himself. And throughout all of those journeys, man, as a husband, as a father, as a son, athlete, adversity is really what has us here today. You know what I'm saying? Like even with the brand, even with my family currently, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that I pride myself on more today than I've ever done. Is that I'm a product of adversity, man, but it's the God in me that has us where we are today.
That's fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I heard you say you were a military brat.
Yeah.
So you mentioned off camera and that your dad gave this country 28 years.
Yeah.
Long time.
So it seems like in those 28 years, did you move around a lot?
100%.
Did you find yourself having to become, friends as you were growing up with different environments, different communities? And how well did that harm you, shape you, or what did that do for you as a young, man before you even became a teenager?
Man, that's a great question, man, because of course, in a military family, and especially with that tenure, bro, you definitely gonna move around a lot, man. You gonna have to become accustomed to making new friends and being in new environments. But actually, in it seems like a negative thing. Like I can remember being, let's say my dad. We go from Germany to El Paso, from El Paso back to Germany to Colleen and the homies, they going to Virginia, and they, so when you're in it, it seems like it's a negative thing. But the older that I got, myself and my sisters, we started to understand that once you start looking at the people, and let me do a backstory. Like my family is originally from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh man, okay.
And once we started going back every summer with my relatives and my cousins and the people around, you started to see what a comfort zone looked like, or what a non-military environment looked like. We didn't even know how much structure we were under, how many different lessons that you get from being in a military family that, you know, when you go out of that environment, you see like, hold on, man, like
The real struggle.
yeah,
Right.
like, or again, when it came time to make adjustments, or when it came time to pivot, like for us, man, that was just normal life. Like,
Wow.
you know, even right now, man, like whatever happens, we're not grounded in comfort. You know what I'm saying?
like that.
My pops used to tell us, man, the only thing I want comfortable is my couch. And that's the thing about
I like that.
that's the thing about life, especially for us as men, especially us as fathers and husbands. Like, man, if you're looking for comfort, then you ain't really looking for leadership. You looking for somebody to give you a title. You know what I'm saying? But comfort zones, man, don't really give you what you're looking for as far as manhood goes. And then even, you know, from a male, female, whatever standpoint, I even see with my sisters, man, like making the adjustments and pivoting is second nature because of that military background.
That's something, man. You know, I like how you said, man, comfort zones. This is something that helps me when it comes to comfort zones, because sometimes, you know, I can't even struggle, and I know a lot of men feel the same way. When you're in a comfort zone, it's almost equivalent to an incubator.
Yeah.
You know, you outgrow eventually where you are. I had a small story like a bird I was reading, and I was looking at a story and how the mother would create the nest, right, prior to the other birds being formed. And she would create the nest, and then that's where she would lay the eggs. And the eggs will hatch, boom, and the birds will come to life. And she will feed those birds. After a while, when those birds have grown, she would start moving different parts of the nest. She started moving the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And they eventually have to learn how to fly away. But there's always some that stay tight. Even in the smallness of the nest. And those are forced out. The mother would rather grab you and throw you from high to force you to fly.
Yeah.
I think we miss that as parents.
And bro, what you're speaking to is about purpose and what you're born to do.
Man, that's good,
You know,
bro. That's good.
Those mothers are telling the baby birds that, listen, man, you were born with a set of wings, and your purpose, or part of your purpose, is to fly. You know, nothing about being in this nest and me feeding you and me. That's
good,
part of infancy.
Mm-hmm.
But and again, I heard Dr. Miles Monroe say, man, fish don't take swimming lessons. You know, they born to swim.
They're born to do it. Yeah,
You know,
that's good.
Nobody teaches a fish to swim.
Yeah.
And again, what you're speaking to is a lot of times we hinder our children from doing what they were born to do because we overparent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in that, we don't, and we was talking about it even with Brian and his kids, and not saying that that's what he's doing, but sometimes that's what we do subconsciously, because we forget about individual purpose, individual gifts, individual calling.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we have to force them out the nest and say, listen, man, God called you to do something that has nothing to do with me. I just help cultivate you, but now you got something that you got to do.
Yeah.
Quick question. Coming from that point of parenting, where, you know, you're talking about shaping the kids and get out. Now, being that you was a military brat, going all over the place, getting a different type of sternness from dad.
Right.
I know that come in there. Mom kind of backs it up from there. Did that help shape you and your fatherhood now, or did it make you push away from it?
Now, 100%, man. It helped me because my dad wasn't a dictator.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was
Wow.
he was stern, but he didn't rule with an iron fist to where I never felt like I got any leeway, or he, didn't let us do anything. My sisters were a little bit different because they girls.
Yeah.
But for me, bro, like, he just set the boundaries, he set the foundation, and that's what I had to adhere to. And when I didn't adhere to that, that's when the sternness kicked in, or that's when it ain't like, my dad would just wake up on one because he in the military. Yeah. It was just that, listen, who your father is, what I do for a living, my environment. Like, man, these are things that have to be done. I'm gonna give y'all one big example, man, and probably the only thing me and my pops have ever fallen out about on earth is he was big on having that bed made before school, man. And bro, I could not understand that for the life of me. I'm like, Pop, man, why do I have to make this bed, bro, before I go to school? Like, what kind of sense did that make? What's the purpose? Who coming to the crib? Who gonna sit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's? But it was just about like, listen, bro, that's a piece of my structure that you gonna have to adhere to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to just wake up and do whatever you want to do. And it gave me some structure about time and punctuality and making sure, because that means you got to wake up at least 30, 45 minutes earlier, especially if you kind of lethargic, or it just said, listen, I know what I have to do in this environment to get the leeway that I want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and to answer your question, dog, it really enhanced who I am as a father, because it showed me how important structure and boundaries and foundation is. Yeah. Because if your kids don't really have anything to tap into, then eventually, especially as they get older, they'll create their own boundaries, and they create their own foundation, man. And then you get in this tug of war of saying, well, why I got to do this and why I got, like, nah, that's just what we do. I know you might not want to do it, but listen, that's just what we do.
Yeah. So with coming up, I heard you say with the sisters, you are
in what line?
What number are you with your sisters, and how many is siblings?
It's 3, and it's 4 of us, and I'm number 3. So I have a younger sister, 2 older sisters. Oh
man, so you had somebody to lead and pick on, because you probably got picked on by those 3 girls.
Well, again, it is definitely, man, it's definitely a tough space to be in.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying? Because being brother is always brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as much as I might have got picked on by the older ones, or got nagged by my younger one, it was always a time like, man, listen, I'm still bro. Even with my older sisters, it's like, again, when my pop set the foundation, I was the one who had to pick that thing up. And it was certain things, man, my sisters would get into it. And man, I remember we were stationed in El Paso, man, and my middle sister got into it, man. Little boy called her out her name on the bus, this, that, and the third. Man, my pops, when I get to the crib, this true story, man. I get to the crib, my pops is talking to me through the screen door, and it's to let you know how old it was.
He ain't let you come in the house.
He like, bro, like, listen, little boy done called your sister this, that, and the third. And he got my sister right here. He like, man, you know who it was, and your mama gonna have dinner ready by 6, man. Be home by 6. I put my book bag down. I'm door to door, like, hey man, so and so here, and then I had to tell him, like, bro, you can't be calling my sister out her name, bro. And I'm talking about, we scrapped right there in the yard. I went on home and got me something to eat. Like, like, it's just certain things my pop didn't play. Like, bro, we this is the structure of how we cover the females of our house. And if I ain't doing it, you doing it.
Yeah. I love how he passed that torch to you. Man, that's how we was brought up, man. I remember the first time that happened to me, man. So I'm the little cousin to everybody on my dad's side, my mother's side, right? My mother's side, I'm more so on the older side. But on my dad's side, I'm like one of the babies, right? And man, little thug dude in the neighborhood roughed me up coming home one day. I ran to tell my cousins. My dad was like, nah, you need to fight that fight. bro, I'm like 10. He like 14. He like, hey, make your first shot the best shot.
Yeah.
But man, when I had to go fight old boy, I'm fighting with tears in my eyes. I had to go fight this dude, man. I just knew he was gonna kill me. I didn't realize how soft his jaw was, though.
Yeah.
I got that shot, and I was like, I can actually whoop him. And it did something to my confidence, but that was my dad's crazy way of saying, man, hey, your mom and them might have a bunch of women over there and get you soft, make you, you learn how to cook and all that cute stuff. But it's my job to make you tough and make sure that you a boy.
And we don't run from nothing. We ain't
Nah,
running
we ain't.
Yeah.
No, you staying right there.
I used to look out like, oh, man, they down there.
You got 2 or 3 fights you got to take before you make it back home.
Man, boy, the respect level was through the roof from that, in a negative way, though. I became something different in the neighborhood, but it still taught me, like, that softness, man. Like, nah, that ain't tolerated, bro.
Yeah.
I love that, man. So growing up, of course, you probably was thrust into the loving sports. Especially, man, you had to go whoop somebody. You had to be, okay,
athletic.
You the athlete of the family.
Yeah.
So what sports did you find yourself going into more than others, and how well did you excel? Did you just do it for fun? How far did you go? What happened with that?
Man, all through junior high school, man, I was always a 3-sport athlete. So I played football, basketball, ran track. And I came up in the era where you really, whichever, especially football and basketball, whichever one of them you excelled at, you was made to run track.
Oh, you had to run track. Mandatory.
Mandatory. And basketball was always my infatuation. But I was naturally gifted as a football player, man. Like in Killeen, I probably still own 3 or 4 football records in this. Like, man, if I go back now, man, that's like, oh man, Reggie George, the football dude. And that's just because, again, man, what we talking about, even with those birds, we have to understand, just like with LeBron's gift is not basketball. LeBron's gift is 6'8", 250. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I had to, the awareness I had to come into, especially by the time I was maybe sophomore, junior in high school, is like, Reg, you ain't never going to be 6 foot nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even though you can hoop, man, I give a cat 30 on any given day, especially in high school. But I really started having to, again, one of my favorite words is cultivate who I was as a football player, man, because I saw that's what college looks like. That's where the scouts was coming from. That's where, and then football had really been set at the top of the totem pole, because even when the scouts would come, that's the first thing I would hear. Like, bro, all that basketball, all that running track, like, we're gonna have to get that up. I know you got, but man, played college ball, man.
What school?
Central Arkansas.
Shout out to Central Arkansas.
And man, one of the biggest things, again, even in the structure of things, sports for me helped me kind of put a lot of things in order as well, from a male perspective, from a leadership perspective, and that's why anytime I speak anywhere I'm at, man, the most analogies that I'm gonna use are sports analogies.
Yeah.
Because in that we learn a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's compromise. I don't care if it's uncomfortability. I don't care if it's leadership. I don't care if it's being coachable. All of that stuff, man, I see 1,000% plays a huge part in every aspect of life.
That's good. That's good, man. So I could only imagine, man, coming from a guy who was traveling as a teenager, as a young man, then you get down in Killeen and you go crazy, man. You balling out. You get an opportunity, man, to go to a great college. Man, how does it feel, man, to finally get planted? You the man now. In high school, you the man. You go to college, bro. You just one of these new athletes here, down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Get to work, big fella. Mm-hmm. How did that transition feel to go from, man, I'm here, And now I got to almost start all the way over, prove myself, and I got to show these people who I am all over again.
Man, it's just work. You know what I'm saying? One thing,
so
for me, man, I grew up with the severest form of asthma known to man. Like, man, you know, it almost done killed me 4 times that I can remember, like that swallow your tongue type asthma. But one thing, again, about my father, even in the midst of asthma, I was never allowed to feel sorry for myself. You know what I'm saying? I was never allowed to let asthma overtake me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember being in the hospital for a couple of weeks at a time, man. One of my biggest asthma attacks, man. I was 13, 14 years old. But I remember the first thing my pops was saying, like, bro, how do we work our way out of this? How do we get your lungs stronger? How do we, you know, whatever we do, or when I got out the hospital, it's still like, son, that yard got to be cut. Or I'm like, Pop, like, man, come on, man. It's my allergy.
Loaded, man.
He was creating a true warrior.
Yeah, he was.
You know, I'm thinking my allergies trigger the asthma, this, that, and the third. But what his mentality was, man, we can outwork anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. and then he understood from a medical standpoint what asthma was, what my allergies were. But the more you're exposed to a thing, the more you build up an immunity. You know, it's just like the COVID shot or anything else. People don't understand. All they're doing is injecting you with the virus to become immune to it.
Yeah. And
I think that's all my pops instilled in me, especially on every level. Like, man, I don't think I really heard my pops say great job or good game, man, till I was maybe sophomore in college, bro. Like, I could in high school, man, I could go out there and score 40 in basketball, 3 touchdowns in football. Man, I ran the hurdles in track, man. I could win district in the hurdles. My pops be like, man, listen.
What you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's somebody chasing you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, again, on my best football days, it might be, you know, I might have 25 carries, man, 200 and whatever yards. My pops like, man, listen, bro, in the third quarter.
He found a weakness.
Yeah, in the third quarter, bro, like, man, you missing blocks, man, you tiptoeing. You know, that was his favorite word right there. Like, man, you tiptoeing. Like, man, I don't want to see you tiptoeing. So for me, and to answer your question, bro, like every level, everything I've ever done, I don't care whether it's the apparel, I don't care whether it's being a husband, being a father. Like, man, I'm looking for the work. Like, how do I excel at this thing? Yeah. Like, now I don't just want to be a participant. Like, let's figure out how I can excel at college football, or how I can excel at being a husband or being a father. Like, that's always been my mentality, man. Like, I don't care what that thing is. Like, where can I work?
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
that's dope, man. As you was talking about your dad, man, it kind of reminded me of myself with my sons, man. So I got 2 athletes. And my daughter, she played basketball for a while. So she broke her ankle. She was like, yeah, Dad, I don't want to play basketball no more. So my kids are 21, 18, and 17.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, my 18-year-old was that kid that they said would never play any sports. You know, he had a rough birth. Mm-hmm. And but man, he's the most athletic kid I got, man. And he one of those kids I was always like, everybody was, oh man, who can do this? Who can do that? I'm like, nah, man, I seen you. You took off on this play. I seen you do this. I seen you do that. And man, the toughest thing for me is when he told me he didn't want to play no more. He tore his ACL last season, his junior year, and he came back his senior year, man, and just had a rough time, man. He was like, I don't feel the same. Yeah. He was just like, I don't want to do it. So hopefully, man, he get that thing out of him, or find something that he's good at, like he was naturally with football.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to get back into you though, man, because you dropping jewels, man, and I'm trying to take it all in.
So before you
go
touch
ahead,
that,
go ahead.
On that college level, a lot of the young guys tapping in right now, and I know this and you know this from experience. Let these young guys know, no matter what level, D1, D2, D3, what do you face as a college athlete?
That's a great question, bro.
What do you face? Because they got to get prepared to embrace that life, plus how to succeed in it.
Yeah. Man, everything, especially as young men, really transitioning into manhood, man, everything is about structure. Everything is about the roadmap. You know, a lot of times, man, you struggle with the transition of being maybe a great high school athlete to being a collegiate athlete, or even if you're aspiring to be a pro, a lot of them are doing it without a roadmap. You know what I'm saying? Just like to come do this podcast, man, I had never been here. So I have to figure out, like, how am I going to get there? You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it be a hard copy of a map or whether it be hitting y'all up and saying, like, okay, man, what's some landmarks, or put it in the GPS. But at some point, I got to figure out how to get here. And I think a lot of times, man, we just, especially great athletes, man, we rely so much on our athleticism that you don't stop until you get hurt, or you don't stop until you reach some adversity and say, let me create a roadmap, man. You know what I'm saying? Even for me, man, like, bro, everything about football I loved except the weight room. You know what I'm saying? But
It feel like torture.
or it again, it's about where I'm comfortable at. See, sometimes my athleticism, I play tailback, man. So sometime in high school, man, you let me get to the edge, I'm just gone. That ain't about no X's and O's. That ain't about what hole I hit. That ain't about no block. That ain't about no nothing. Like, man, you let me get to this corner, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And once you start to understand, like, bro, that's only right here. That's only until you get that corner that can play, or that linebacker that's going to meet you
That's
on
gonna
the
meet
edge.
you.
Now it's like, okay, I don't want to get in the weight room, but I got to get in there. You know what I'm saying? Or the injuries start to set in, or you start to see your body, and I wouldn't say failing you, but you start to see your body not be stable enough for what you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like again, man, football is a collision sport. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't take the next level for them collisions, your body ain't gonna take the next level. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily about strong and fast. It's about being durable. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if you ain't got no durability, bro, and cats is intentionally looking to bang you out, that might even be in practice, man. You got a lot of cats who, even in practice, if they trying to earn spots or earn some playing time, like, bro, they headhunt. They headhunt. And to answer your question, bro, like, I think the how is what I think a lot of athletes skip over. Because you're still waiting on your mom and them to push you, or your coach, or you have to have your own roadmap. If I gotta sit around and wait on somebody to tell me how to get everywhere I go, then again, I'm not self-sufficient in the area that I'm trying to grow in.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If being a college athlete, and especially getting on the field, starting NFL, any of that is your goal, everybody should be able to ask you, like, man, how do you plan on getting there?
Yeah. And that's good to have. I love the college level, because that starts you at a point of real development to become a man in yourself.
Yeah.
With the discipline, the work ethic, overcoming a lot of traumas, those short-term traumas you have in college that we don't even hear about. You trying to balance out school, and then you trying to balance out football school, and then you're trying to have a social life all at once. But then you got to make sure your social life is under control. And then we have some young fathers in college. Learning how to be a father also puts a lot of pressure in that mix. But that is the development, and I want to tap into, getting these young men mentors, because a lot of times, like you said, you come from households that don't have father figures.
100%.
You look for the coaches. The coaches there just to the coach sometimes is you're still missing that mentor.
100%.
If you have the mentor in place during that time and developing right along with the balance of what the coaches are doing, there you got better fathers. You got better leaders, to be out there mentoring people. So what my experience was, my first 2 years, I wanted to quit. I said, man, this man cussing me out like he don't even know me. And then he going to hug me out to practice. Man, I'm about to be out here. You already see what I'm dealing with at this Division I with school. And then I come here and I'm spending the majority of my day with the coaches.
Yeah.
And he made me, go from a 4-star athlete to this real quick. Yeah. And then now on top of it, like you said, your teammates are trying to earn positions and you're trying to be durable, you're trying to learn. It's an overwhelming factor. So having mentorships, having someone you can go to, that gives the balance that I feel like, will add on a bonus to what you're already learning in that point.
And bro, you bring up a good point, man, which and I just got goosebumps thinking about it. So it might be, God telling me that's a great idea, man. We might need to start having somebody on these campuses that's truly just a father figure. You know what I'm saying? Even though they might be part of the coaching staff, but see, sometimes the coaches, just like with the athletes, man, have so many other responsibilities that it becomes tiresome to have to deal with all the kids personally. You know what I'm saying? But if you do, just like you have a priest on campus, or you have, you know what I'm saying? But there are, and we've all experienced this in different walks of life, but especially in football because there's so many athletes. You know what I'm saying? You got 75 cats on a team.
That's a lot.
And what happens, bro, is we kind of discount subconsciously the environments that they're coming from because you're looking at them as athletes or you're looking at them from their gift. But again, a household structure, and Miles Monroe calls it the lion's roar. And that's all you talking about, man. When you get around a lion and you ain't never heard the roar, it's going to scare you to death.
I ain't even think about it like that.
Like, hold on, bro. Like, what?
Yeah.
And what happens is you thrust these cats into environments with lions. And now you saying, like, hold on, my high school coach kind of coddled me, man, and made sure I was cool, this, that, and the third.
Yep.
But you got these lions growling at me all day.
Man.
Like, man, hold on, bro. Like, this ain't about football. But what happens is we discount what environment these young men might be coming from, bro. If you've never heard the lions roar, think about that, man. Like, if we go to the Serengeti or whatever, somebody who is around exotic animals every day, what we gonna run from, they gonna laugh at us. Yeah. Like, where y'all going? Like, he just hungry, man. Or he, you know what I'm saying? He just communicating. He's just saying hi.
He's just playing.
Like, hold on, bro.
That was no play.
You know what I'm saying?
You heard what he just said.
I felt the wind off that thing.
That's like coming down the street and a pit bull with no leash. Like, hey, bro, who dog is that?
Who dog is that? And I don't care how friendly it is or what. All we see is pit bull. And a lot of times in these environments, man, we do have to be more conscious of background sometimes because that's what will deter a lot of, I don't care if you can be the strongest, fastest, biggest athlete on earth. Even with LeBron, I seen that a lot of times, man. What was the first coach in Cleveland? I can't even remember his name. Was it Paul Silas? It might have been Paul Silas.
No, it was Mike.
Not Mike. No, before Mike Brown, it was Paul Silas. I think the old head.
You know what it sure was.
And I think
it sure was.
You could tell that lion didn't make LeBron feel good. It was like, man, he was too harsh. There you go. Or he was too fatherly. See, sometimes when we grow up in these environments, and I've heard LeBron talk about not wanting to meet him, and man, I don't even think about that. So now you're telling the lion, like, man, I don't want no lions around. And that's what happens a lot of times, even with you looking at KD and look at how they deal with adversity. All of them are coming from an emotional space. And I'm not saying emotions are negative or nothing.
Call it like it is.
But what happens is they mama's boys.
They mama's boys.
They mama's boys, and you can see it in how they react to things. Because you have to clean things up, or you got to come back and you got to keep justifying the same thing over and over. And like, bro, that's not. You gotta deal with the emotions, then give your response.
Yeah.
But don't let nobody emotionally push you, or you reject that father figure. See, a lot of times, just like what you were describing, bro, is all you heard was the yelling and cussing. But if you don't know that yelling and cussing has your best intent at heart, or your best interest at heart, that's all you ever gonna hear is the yelling and cussing.
Yeah, that's real, man. You know, so I guess I'll dial it back and speed it up a little bit. So with you in college now, I really want to know, because I think this leads into the meat of your story. At what point did you meet your wife?
Man, I actually met my wife. So my dad retired in '94, and so we retired actually in Arkansas. So my senior year in high school, man, I finished in Arkansas.
Man, you left Killeen and went to Arkansas,
which was foolish, but but again, my ego and my arrogance was like, man, what I'm doing on the 6A level, and this is back when, man, you got to think 94, 95, bro. 6A was huge. Killeen Ellison and Killeen Kangaroo, like, man, them was probably
big dog.
Dog, them big dogs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, like, I'm finna go to Arkansas and run wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna run all my numbers up. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I got now, I'm finna triple them boys.
You better look like a pro.
Oh man, I'm finna look like I'm finna go from 4-star to 7-star. I'm finna add some stars to the list. And bro, I got to Arkansas, man, and man, got injured 2 or 3 times, or, you know, now they want me to do everything. Like, hold on, man. Like, you know, I never heard of cats going both ways, and like, man, I'm not finna play no defense. What is y'all talking about? Like, I ain't realized when you go in them environments, man, they gonna use that type of athlete everywhere on the field. Yep. Like, bro, I'm not returning no punts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I return kicks, but I don't return punts, man. They like, no, you gonna do everything. But that's the year that I met my wife. Me and my wife we've been married 23 years. I've been knowing her right at 30 years, a little over 30 years. So I met her 90, maybe about 95 or so.
Wow. So y'all met before you even went through your college years. So she is knowing you as a superstar, you know, a sports guy. You go through college. Did you get a chance to finish college?
Yeah, for sure.
So you finished out college. You know, what was your plans after college?
Man, of course it was to play ball, man. And when that didn't maturate, bro, like I ain't gonna lie, man, I was in limbo.
Wow.
You know, I went through probably 2 years, man, where I was just trying to figure things out. and by craft, man, I've probably been a salon and barbershop owner for the last, 17 years, bro. But I started cutting hair maybe 7th, 8th grade, but I never looked at that as
7th, 8th grade.
You know what I'm saying? I never looked at
pocket change. We was all sitting there.
I don't know if you knew this about myself. I ain't trying to make this about me, but my grandfather was a barber.
Okay.
Taught me how to cut hair, and me and my cousins, man, taught us how to cut hair when we was like 11, 12 years old. Man, I promise you, man, I just used to cut people hair in the neighborhood. I never thought of that being a way for me.
Yeah.
A lane for me.
Yeah.
Until when COVID hit. You know, I lost a 6-figure job, and I was left with nothing. God ministered to me, and which I was going to say this for another show, but I tell a little small piece of it. God just taught me to look at my hands and to see what I had in my hands. And that was just a tool that was in my arsenal, man. So I went to barber college here in 2022.
22.
Went to Barber College 2022 at 40.
Mm-hmm.
And man, so now I've been cutting hair. That's been my way of making somewhat of a living. But this here is my passion, man. Is being able to do this.
Yeah, but that thing, them clippers, man, and one thing I understood, and then I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I always had an art spirit. Art and football was my two things, man. Like, I love anything art. You know what I'm saying? Both my degrees in art. And that's really how I started cutting hair, because I was the hood artist. I was the cat that would airbrush your jeans and your overalls back in the day.
You doing tattoos?
Nah, I ain't do no tattoos. But one of my homies who was the hood barber, he hurt himself, man. He tipped over a skillet of grease, man. So the homies was just like, Reggie, if you can draw, you got to be able to cut hair. I'm like, man, let's go get tone clippers. Let's see. But for me, bro, the father figure movement, the apparel, the clippers in my shops, man, gave me the ministry. You know what I'm saying? It gave me the platform, because and this is long before I ever knew we would deal with what we dealt with.
Yeah.
But
They're like therapists, man.
And bro, you just speaking to it. It let me know how well respected I truly was. See, I thought I was well respected because I was one of the top barbers in the country in certain spaces. But it's like, Reg, we respect you because we see how long you've been married. We respect you because we see how you deal with them kids and cut hair and still coach and do all this stuff. Man, like, again, my girls are 18, bro, and in them 18 years, they probably can't name 2 events that daddy ain't been at. Like, man, I love cutting hair. I love these shops. But if I tell you I'm family first, that's what it is. I don't care if it's a gymnastic, a dance recital. I don't care if it's, my girls tried to play instruments and they was horrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? But again, even in that, like, man, I'm sitting there, I'm out there in the crowd, because when you hear God, it can't be I'm hearing you for my own selfish reasons. You can't say I'm hearing you because I lost the 6-figure job. I'm hearing you out of obedience. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for me, a lot of times, until our incident, man, my ego said that, God, I hear you, so you can put me on. I hear you, so you can, fill up, so I can get the bag.
Talk about
You know what I'm saying?
So you telling me that the influence of finding your firm foundation started way before trauma in your life.
And bro, way before football, way before Reggie the athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, ironically, my homie burnt his hand and put some clippers in mine. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I thought God had given me, the gifts and the this, that, and the third, like, man, that's just leading you.
So what do you tell, like, the people in your chair, the people you come across in these podcasts or meetings that are looking for a solid foundation, like in spiritual life, or they just saying, "No, that's not me." But how do I find a firm foundation? Because you have people dancing on the fence a lot.
Yeah,
they're like, "Well, I don't know. I don't want to be like you and follow you in God's footsteps." But how do I have a firm foundation? So how do you minister to those type of people who are on the fence?
Man, my grandmother used to always tell us, man, warning come before destruction.
Real talk.
And what happens is, whatever God's purpose for you is, He gonna get you to it one way or another. And especially as young men and as men that are peers, like, bro, don't go the long route. The short route is saying, kill the ego, kill the flesh, kill the self, and focus on obedience more than anything. You know what I'm saying? And again, I had to learn that the hard way. That's after being ultra successful in business. That's after being ultra successful as a husband and what I thought as a father. But for me, my ego said, look what I've done. Oh, look at me, man. I'm a millionaire businessman, and I got this beautiful wife and these kids and this, that, and the third. And God had to show me, you only have what you have because of my grace. You discounting my grace by telling people what you've accomplished, or giving me credit on the back end instead of consulting me on the front end. And that's the thing I think. When people sit in my chair, man, I really try to convey to them, like, obedience does not come with comfort. We talked about comfort zones earlier, but God is going to push you to some places and some things that you don't necessarily want. But the end result is purpose. The end result is the desires of your heart. You may not necessarily get that on the front end, or it may not look like. Again, I never knew we would get here because my eye was on the football prize, or my eye was on this prize. There's no way you could tell me somehow we would end up the father figure movement, the father figure apparel, and you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that we have to understand is God is going to get you where he wants you to go, whether you want to get there or not.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I really want to go into, man, so you married, you have 2 beautiful daughters.
Man, Kenny and Cam, shout out Kenny and Cam.
Shout out.
And Tiffany.
Yeah.
Don't let me don't let me make
shout
you know
out
what I'm
to
saying?
wife.
So, yeah,
He's
shout out.
sorry.
He said it first.
Yeah.
First.
I mentioned wifey first, so don't you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but nah, Tiffany is my wife, and my daughters are Kennedy and Camden.
Man, shout out the wife, man. Shout out the kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. So you're an entrepreneur. You got business going. As you mentioned, man, we're gonna have to talk off camera, man, about a lot of the things, man. Because I've got doing one of them things in my head again, But it's the truth, man. They get to talking, I'll be like, all right, bro.
You got 100 things going.
Yeah. At what point is the birth of father figure?
Yeah, man. Again, we talked about a lot, man. Father figure was actually birthed a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? The admiration that I've always had for my grandfather, my father, manhood, but the actual movement, the actual apparel, was birthed after an incident in 2019, man. So my girls are 18, and when they were 13, 8th graders, my youngest twin, who is Camden, man, she was stabbed in the head with a pair of scissors in the cafeteria at school by a 15-year-old little boy. And I'm talking about, like, that teacher issued pair of scissors. Man, he stabbed her behind her left ear, and that thing devastated us, man. It's one of those deals where you get the call, and if you see it on a movie, if you hear that call on the movie, like, bro, I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, man, hold on. I'm asking my wife, like, bro, what did you just say? You said my baby got stabbed in the cafeteria? And then Kennedy has to watch her sister get stabbed and bleed out in the cafeteria and passing out, man. So, as a man, bro, you can't even imagine the call.
Yeah, devastation.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in one of the shops, man, and I'm stripping the floors. It's on a Monday, so that's what I do. Like, man, I clean up and bro, my wife called me and it is probably the most surreal moment of my 47 years on earth, bro. Because, man, I leave the shop wide open. I don't lock up no nothing, man. I'm burning down Cooper and Arlington and man, I'm actually yelling at my wife like she did it. Like, man, what is going on with my baby? Like, you mean it? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, like, man, come on, God, it can't be, can't be that bad. And by the time I get halfway there, man, she called me back and she like, and then I hear everybody in the background like, Camden, come on, don't pass out and stay up. And I hear my baby yelling and they tell me like, don't even come to the school because we rushing her to the local hospital. So at that point, man, I'm like, bro, like, come on, God, what is going on? Like, this ain't no she at the nurse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't one of them stabbings. Like, and then my wife mad because they like, man, when it's that dire, they won't let you in the ambulance and my baby, you know what I'm saying? So at that point, man, it really put some reality to it. Like, man, we dealing with a situation. And for me, bro, the reason why we really here, man, the reason why all of this stuff is even in existence is God was thoughtful enough to have me bypass the school. See, like, my wife got there, they had chased the boy down, and she seen him getting handcuffed, and you know what I'm saying? God really saved me from that piece, bro, because I don't know if I make it to the school if we here talking today. You know what I'm saying? Like, as godly of a man as I think I am, and like, bro, I do not think, even if he's handcuffed and reprimanded, man, like, bro, I don't know, if I end up in jail or the boy end up dead, whatever it was, that's the mercy that God covered me with in that particular instance, man, because I had to go straight to the hospital. And matter of fact, I had beat everybody there. That's why I'm flying. And I hear the ambulance back in. My wife, everybody starts showing up. But I see him wheel my baby in, man, and she in and out of consciousness, man, and which was great to see. But it was also horrifying at the same time because we don't know what's going on. I'm glad she's still alive. She's still conscious. So they take me and my wife back in this little break room at the local hospital, and doctor come out and he tell us, like, man, she conscious, but after an MRI, the scissors punctured her skull, punctured her brain, and left. At the time, they saw 2 blood clots on her brain. So he like, man, listen, there's nothing we can do for her here. We're gonna have to get her to one of the children's hospital and get her some brain surgery immediately, man. So they strapped my baby in, bro, and they care flighted to Cook's and Children's in Fort Worth, and bro, it was normally about a 20-25 minute drive, bro. It seemed like it took us 3 hours to get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding with my sister, and she don't know what to say. We don't know what to say, man. And I'm just, of course, we praying the whole time. But we arrive at Cook's, man, and another one of the scariest moments, man. We we met by 2 chaplains. We not met by no doctors. We not met by. And at that point, now, Lil Rock, Colleen Ridge come out. And I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing here? And that's exactly how I approach him. Like, man, why y'all here? And this man of God talking to men of God. Like, bro, why are you greeting me instead of? And they like, Mr. George, this just protocol. And I'm like, protocol for what, man? Is my baby alive? Obviously they done put y'all on high alert. They're like, nah, man, we just want to keep y'all covered, this, that, and the third, man. So we actually walk down this hallway, and we're meted by this neurosurgeon. He's already prepped for surgery. He got everything on, man. And, man, he just handed me and my wife a piece of paper like, man, listen, I need y'all to sign here, here, and here. We're going to make an incision at the top of her skull, come around through the back of her ear. We're going to remove her skull. We're gonna go in and try to at the time we're gonna try to remove 3 blood clots on her brain, and if we don't go now, man, she ain't gonna make it. And bro,
I couldn't imagine as you go back and you travel even now in your brain, the trauma as a father. See, I'm going back as you talking, and I'm thinking about the Reg that was the only man when Dad wasn't home.
yeah,
I'm thinking about Reg, the athlete, the leader. Reg, the guy who was the popular guy that everybody wanted to be around.
Yeah.
Reg, the savior. Mm-hmm. Reg is the one that got all the answers when he's cutting your hair. Mm-hmm. And now Reggie is left here.
No, 100%, bro. And I'm left to lead my wife. I'm left to lead my other baby.
I can relate a little bit to that. Getting a phone call that my son was bit in the face by one of my pit bulls a year ago. And you just in shock.
Yeah.
You know, you start arguing because you don't know where to put your anger. You know, during a trauma, moments like that. But the best thing you can do is still be there, like you were, and try to lead and try to overcome the devastation that you have to deal with. And the question I ask you, because I know it still haunts me, and it gets me just like this emotional moment. Every time I replay, every time I look at his photos the day before that event, I get choked up because I'm like, my baby, I never look at my baby from the time they're infant all the way up until they can, be moving around, that any danger would come to them.
Yeah, come on.
So that trauma that you face when you tell the story, when you have to relive it, when you look at the babies getting over 18.
Yeah.
My baby made it to 18. How do you overcome that? When us men, we bury it so much, but then we're trying to not self-destruct with that trauma.
And bro, and we talked about it earlier, man. It's not being overcome by the emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's not that the emotions are not there. It's do I become irrational because of the emotions, or or am I unable to process where we're at? Again, man, like the rage that was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like I talk to a lot of men, man, and all of them like, oh no, Reg, you better than me. I've done this. Like, bro, listen, man. I've had dreams where I done woke up with this little boy's severed head in my lap. You know, don't ever think retaliation and revenge wasn't at the top of my list. But again, if I let that emotion overcome me, who I say I am, I'm not him no more. I'm not the husband that protects my wife. I'm not the father that protects my kids. If I'm locked up for what I think is validation. And what most men would think, like, man, Reg, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you gotta do what you like. But at the end of the day, I still leave my wife and my other baby uncovered and on an island trying to fend for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So for me, bro, and her surgery, man, her first surgery, bro, you talking about 8.5 hours. And the range of emotions that you go through as a man in those 8.5 hours is indescribable, bro. I don't know, even if I tried to, put it into words, man. You can't, just imagine being on a 8-hour shift at work, but the whole time your child is in brain surgery, emergency brain surgery, bro. I drop my kids off at school every single day up until that point. 7:30 a.m. I drop them off at school, and by 7:30 p.m. we in emergency brain surgery. And that's the thing that, again, man, my father, and just a backstory, man, the man who raised me, my father is not my biological father. I was adopted when I was 2. But our relationship is not based on blood. It's based on again, man, it's based on principle. It's based on relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been in any way, shape, form, or fashion treated like a stepchild. And I've never looked at my dad and, bro, I've never looked at my father as my stepfather. They were still in Arkansas when Cam got stabbed. And Little Rock, man, and we from Conway, which is probably 5.5 hours away. So I called my pops, man, and I tell him what's going on. And, man, the phone just hang up. I'm like, man, what's going on, man? And I'm like, okay. So my mom called me. She called me back 30 seconds later. And she like, Reggie, what is going on? This, that, and the third. And as I'm talking to her, I hear in the background, man, they getting in the vehicle. She like, man, your daddy say, don't pack no clothes, no nothing.
My son need me.
And about a 5.5 hour trip, bro. I know my pop showed up 3 hours later.
Yeah.
And for me, bro, that's probably the only way I get through that 8.5 hour brain surgery. It's a lot of, man, my homies start showing up, man, my friends, but, bro, and me and my pops, man, probably didn't say 10 words to each other the whole time. But every time I come in the weight room, come out, or, walk around, and, you know what I'm saying, I'm looking for my pops. Like, okay, we good. We cool. And, like I said, 8.5 hours, man. Neurosurgeon, who we find out later on is probably one of the best neurosurgeons in the country, bro. He come out, man, by this time, man, probably 60, 70 people in his waiting room, bro. And he come out, man, he pull up a chair right in front of me, man. He like, man, your baby's brain was beat up. Your baby's brain was swollen. He was like, man, I had to call in an assistant to help me control the bleeding and the brain fluid on her brain. He was like, because of the blood clots, man, during surgery, she had a massive stroke. And, bro, he said, your baby is minute to minute. I had never heard nothing like that, bro. I done heard people say day to day or week to week or whatever the case may be. He like, she minute to minute. And by this time, man, nurses are wheeling her past the waiting room to take her to the pediatric ICU. And, bro, that was the first time I remember, like, emotionally just, like, Like, man, what is going on, bro? You know, it ain't too often I remember questioning God, but bro, I remember vividly, like, God, like, what we got going, bro? Like, what is going on, man? Like, I want to tap in right now, but I don't even know where to tap into, because I can't put together what's going on. And why would you let this happen to my baby? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to cover her and I want to pray, but like, man, I can't understand why we here. Man, I go out in the hallway, man, and I kind of just, man, I lay down in the hallway, like, because I don't know if this man just told me my baby was a vegetable, or, you know, is she gonna die, you know? And man, I remember my pops come and pick me up, like, bro, like, listen, man, I heard that man say everything he said, but he didn't say she was dead, and you know what you put in these kids. So I know, like, you know, our baby finna fight. And excuse my French, he like, man, so you get your ass up and let's go fight with her. And bro, from that point on, man, it was just like, it was a battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we didn't know what her brain function was. We didn't know how bad the stroke had taken a toll on her, man. My wife, she emotionally all over the place. My other baby emotionally all over the place. But at that point, man, again, like Dr. Miles Monroe said, bro, I was truly introduced to a part of Reg that I didn't know existed. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how much you work out. It don't matter how strong you are. It don't matter how fast you are. Until that thing is tested, you don't know what you've been doing it for.
Talk to it.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody is faithful until you test it. Everybody is in the gym until something comes along and says, let me see how much you've been in the gym. And that's really where I was, bro. Like, I had no clue where the strength was gonna come from to be who I needed to be as a husband, to be who I needed to be as a father, to be who I needed to be as a man at that point. But I was faithful that God had called me to that moment for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? For what, I don't know why we there, but Reg, I'm not gonna give it to you if I'm not gonna give you the provision. You know what I'm saying?
Talk that.
And man, from that point on, bro, like, she was fighting every day. Like, man, we got in the ICU, man. And you talking about you watching her fight for her life, bro, because vital signs were low. Brain function was low. Man, my baby got a drainage tube coming out her brain. She got some coming out her brain, man. A feeding tube in. She got a trach in, man. She got this C collar on, because I guess when she fell, when she passed out, man, they wanted to make sure, you know. And bro, as low as we were, that was the window where I truly felt like God is saying, like, man, it's about you. Your family is here because because of what I got for you. And bro, that night, I can tell you unequivocally, I probably had never audibly heard from God. You know what I'm saying? But they had gave us this suite, and in this suite, because we had so much family there, man, we all in the suite, and so me and my old lady, we were actually sleeping in the room, in the ICU room. But the first night, man, we slept in the suite with the family. And I remember God, like, man, waking me up, like, bro, I'm gonna give your baby back. Like, I'm talking about, I heard it clear as day.
My God.
Like, bro, I'm gonna give your baby back. But I'm coming after you. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with your baby. And bro, for me, up until that point, and this is my right hand to God, bro, I had never released 100% of anything to God. Like, God, I'm gonna give you 70% of my marriage. I'm gonna give you 50% of my business, man. I'm gonna give you 50% of these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my ego said, like, God, you put in half, I put in half. And God, like, no. You may put in half on the obedience, but what comes of that, again, if God tells you to cultivate the soil, plant the seed, what comes out of the earth is from God. See, I was taking credit for what comes out of the earth. Like, oh man, look at my harvest.
Yeah.
Look what I did. Like, no, bro. You met me halfway because you were obedient by planting in fertile soil, by going out there and cultivating the soil. But you don't get to take credit for the crops. How you taking credit for the crops? And for me, that was God's way of saying, like, man, the reason I'm gonna give your baby back, because I need you to give her to me. I need you to release your most prized possession back to me. Like, I know you love them shops and you love this money and you love your wife and but them kids and this particular child, you gonna have to give her back to me.
Man, I'm just now coming around the corner to learn how these Bible stories relate to real life.
Man, it's real.
You know what I mean? And hearing that right there is just the same way in the Bible that he talk about, you know, they're asking for a child for the longest, and you finally give a child, the child dies. And you say, give it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, a scripture dude. Kev knows exactly what I'm talking about. But that right there is, if you're not a believer, what else say right there? What else do you need?
Bro, and I'm going to tell you, like, and then you have to question, what type of believer am I? You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to give y'all one of the hardest realities that I ever had to deal with spiritually in this situation is that, do I believe that if my baby dies, that's still the will of God? Like, am I that type of believer?
That's testing.
You see what I'm saying?
Testing.
Like, man, and I think that's why God told me early on, like, man, I'm gonna give her back. But, and just kind of fast forward, bro, like, man, every day, man, she started to, we started to get the better reports on the vital signs, man. She started to, and bro, so like in my shops, one of the customs is when everybody come in, especially the kids, man, you go around to every barber and on my salon side, bro, and you pound. We give the customary fist bump. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So like when you come in, my kids know everybody that come in, man, you give them that customary fist bump. Man, listen, hit everybody. And man, maybe about the third night, man, me and my wife are in the ICU, and the nurse, man, I wish I could remember this nurse's name, man. It was a male nurse, man, and every everything, bro, every detail. He was like, man, Mr. George, this, that, and the third, this, her blood pressure, her vital, this. He like, man, he was like, and today, and this was great about her brain function. He was like, man, I turned the TV on and I asked her, like, Camden, squeeze my hand once if you want to watch this show, or squeeze my hand twice if you don't want to watch this show. And he was like, man, she squeezed my hand. I was like, oh, my God, come on. So we hear that, man, and my wife says, Cam, mom and daddy about to go to sleep, man. We love you. Can you squeeze my hand once if you love me? So she squeezed my wife's hand, bro. And I go around do the same thing, man, and I'm like, man, daddy, daddy here. You know what I'm saying? We just right behind you. We finna go to sleep. Squeeze my hand if you love me. Bro, my baby balled her fist up.
I'm about to walk out of here, bro. What? Oh, that's deep,
bro.
That's deep.
And bro, I could tell she was waiting. Like, I gotta show him.
She a beast.
And this is for my fathers and my men. Like, bro, your kids will vouch for you in ways that you cannot even fathom. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bible says, train them up in the way that they should go, and they will never depart from it, bro. Like, my baby was just telling me, like, let's go. Like, I gotta give you the message that says I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and bro, at the time, even my wife knew what that meant. Like, man, it's go time. Like, and bro, from that point on, man, like, dog, every day she just progressively got better, man. And every time she would see her sister at the time, man, you got to think, this is my 13-year-old, bro. I didn't hear my 13-year-old speak for 8 days. Like, not a word. We don't even know if she can speak. They still got the trach in, man. But, like, when her sister came in, this is when you can see that twin synergy. Like, bro, if we didn't know her brain function from anything else, like, anytime her sister came in, like, man, she would literally try to reach out to her. Like, tell her. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if she don't recognize nobody else, I know she see her sister. And then you got to think, man, her stroke shut down everything on the right side of her body, boy. I'm talking about my baby face leaning over. She can't move her right eye. We would have to tell people, like, come on this side, because she can't move her right eye. You know what I'm saying? But, like, when her sister was around, like, bro, she would literally be trying to get up. You know what I'm saying? We had to tell her, Cam, relax. And, bro, we heard so many different things about injuries to the left side of the brain and the stroke and, this limitation and that limitation, and she ain't gonna be able to do this and she ain't gonna be able to do this, and it's a lot more to the story, man. But if my girls walk in this studio right now, everybody in here would have to ask them what I call the God question. And they're like, Daddy, why you always say that? I'm like, listen, man, that's the God question. And the first thing out of all three of y'all mouth would be, which one of y'all got hurt? Bro, if you look at my baby, if they in the same room, bro, everybody gonna ask, which one of y'all got hurt? Which one of y'all had a stroke? Which one of y'all couldn't walk? Which one of y'all couldn't read?
Man. Hallelujah.
Bro, I've been bald for probably 25 years, bro. When they shaved my baby's head to do her brain surgery, it was as clean as my head. And you see them right now. Which one of y'all had 57 staples in your head? Which one of y'all had your head shaved bald? Which one of y'all was in diapers for 2 months?
Whoo.
Which one of y'all, man, my baby probably didn't move her right arm and her right hand for 9 months. Like, we thought she would never, bro, we thought she would never, ever get movement in her right hand again. Bro, my girls are hoopers. You go see my baby hoop and see how she stroked that thing. And then I had to tell people, like, man, she can only feel about 80% of the sensation in her hand, in her foot. But again, bro, when God say, I'm going to give your baby back, I'm thinking he just going to allow her to live. Bro, what my baby been through, there's no way. The hardest thing that we had to deal with and she had to deal with, the only time I seen her discouraged is because she had to wear diapers for probably 2 months. That's how immobile she was. And they would have to come in there and change her twice a day. And again, we gearing up for prom. We gearing up for, man, my baby about to go hoop in college. You know what I'm saying? This is the level of obedience for us as men and us as fathers and us as leaders. That thing is not only about our calling, it's to cultivate our kids' calling.
It is.
Like, man, I can't even imagine what my girls are called to do. But because of my obedience and not being egotistical or selfish, like, man, I'm not calling you to go and hunt this boy down. I'm not calling you to go and seek revenge. My word says that no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
That's what the words say.
If you do what I'm asking you to do, I'm going to give your baby back. Like, bro, if you look on my gram, man, you can see a picture of my baby's skull, how they had to put her back together. She got screws and bolts and everything in there, bro. But the only way, her neurosurgeon, man, at her last appointment, man, her 17-year-old appointment, they test her coordination, her strength, her everything, durability in her muscles. And, man, this neurosurgeon been on Dr. Oz, man. He tells my daughter, 17 at the time, like, if I did not do those surgeries, I would not know anything was wrong with you. My baby got permanent brain damage, bro. She a stroke survivor. And you got a neurosurgeon that tells her, like, listen, if I was not the one who operated on you, there's nobody that could tell me anything wrong with you.
My God, man. Bro, as we bring this thing to a close,
I don't even
man,
want to stop.
I don't either, man.
I don't, man. That's so powerful, man. I can't even.
But and before we close, let me get to the meat and potatoes of the question. That's really what birthed the brand. That's what really birthed the movement. Is because and that's why we call it the father figure movement, man. Because the biggest thing for me was this little boy. So once we started going to the legal and the court hearings, man, I wanted God to tell me like okay, what makes a 15-year-old little boy stab a girl? You know, it wasn't no fight, it wasn't no commotion. He claimed he was taken up for his sister. My girls had said something verbally. They had some little verbal altercation. But the thing for me, bro, is every time I showed up to court, God would give me a nudge, like, man, look down there. I'm like, bro, God, I'm not looking at that boy because I'm going to dive. He like, nah, man, I need you to look down there. And at no time was there any male representation, man. You know what I'm saying? I would look down there and it'd be mama and auntie and sisters and God was telling me that's what I need you to see. Like, your forgiveness is going to come through understanding why this boy stabbed your daughter. The absence of any male representation, any father figure, it could have been any one of us who told this little boy, ran across him like, man, listen, you ain't finna go retaliate with no females. That's your sister. She need to take up for herself. But if there's no physical altercation, there's no, why would you wield some scissors? And of course, my girls was athletes, so that means you was probably scared of them. But at the end of the day, for me, it just highlighted what God was calling me to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not calling you to be part of the problem. I'm calling you to create some form of solution. I'm calling you to, and the reason why I'm gonna give your baby back, and I'm gonna give her back whole, is because the book of Malachi says, man, that we should turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers. And for me, bro, I know just from my upbringing, my father, my grandfather, if we don't take that to heart, our communities, our society, our world is going to be destroyed by the curse of lack of father figures and fatherhood, bro.
It's real talk.
Again, we all have dominion over more than just our children. Man, I coach a lot of kids. I deal with a lot of kids, man. And now that we're on this mission, I'm intentional about, just like what we were talking about earlier, man, I'm intentional about understanding that it's bigger than coaching. It is about pouring into these kids in spaces that they're not being poured into.
It's real, man.
Did you end up forgiving a young man in that time frame when God was talking to you?
100%. And it was solely because there's no way I don't eventually act on, because there's still triggers, man. We 5 years on the other side of it, bro, and it's triggers everywhere. Like my baby now, she got a hoop with this helmet on, or this headgear, and we do have, like she go to the dentist and she have to tell the dentist, like, listen, you got to be careful back here on the right side because I can't feel my gums, or it's still remnants of the stroke. It's still a bunch of psychological damage that was done to the entire family. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife probably went through the darkest 3 years of our whole marriage. So without forgiveness, bro, for me as a father and me as a man, it was going to be a burden that I didn't want to carry with me forever. Now, my kids, man, I ask them probably every 6-8 months. My kids have to find a space where one day they may forgive him, and that may not happen. But it ain't my job to push them toward that. But I know for me, it was a burden that was eventually going to make me act on it if I didn't.
That's good, man. Man, God is amazing, man. Man, as you were talking, all I can hear is, you made a way.
Mm-hmm.
When my back was against the wall and it looked as if it was over, you made a way.
Yeah.
And we're standing here only because you made. Man.
No, and bro, listen, bro. Marvin Wine has got a song, man. and it's called "Draw Me Close." And bro, the chorus goes, "I seen you do it for others, and I want you to do it for me." And bro, every single day, there's no day
That's
that
my
went
song.
by. I'm talking about, man.
Oh, that's my song.
We was in the hospital almost 3 months, and I had my little route that I would walk around the hospital, bro. And I never, like, it just because I understood, like, I've seen you do it in others, and I want you to do it in me.
Do it in me.
And that's the thing, man, that we have to understand when we tapping into our inner man, when we tapping into that spirit, man, is, bro. And another little piece, man, about I'm riding in the car with Camden one day, and this was what gave me the courage to come up here and be vulnerable on all these platforms. Is I'm telling her, like, man, that thing was hard on Daddy, you know, like Daddy was in a dark place, Daddy was in an ugly place, and I'm just telling her, I'm kind of spilling out, and she just look at me and she like, Daddy, I know. And I'm like, man, how you know? Like, you know what I'm saying? You was in the hospital. And, bro, it took my baby to tell me. She was like, you know what? Because I never seen you cry before that, Daddy. And I was like, ooh, wee. But it tells us that sometimes our kids learn more in our vulnerability than they do in our strength. You know, we ain't always got to be Superman, man. Your kids going to learn from Clark Kent as well. You know what I'm saying? And my baby had to hit me with that because, again, I never knew that they would process. She just said it, and I'm talking about, like, you could tell she had thought about it a lot of times because she like, man, I just never seen you cry before that.
Man, I just said in our last episode, man, that Superman wears sweatpants. Because dads, man, we have to be able to showcase this, man. And we're going to bring this thing to a real close. I honestly don't want to let go, but I have to let go. Man, I can't thank you and your vulnerability enough.
Yes. Pleasure.
Transparency and even more, man, the anointing that God has on your life. I can't thank you enough, man, for trusting our space, man, with that. And I know my brother feel the same way, man. You know, you in the brotherhood.
Yeah.
You know, you got an elite type of access, man. Whenever you want to come on here and talk about whatever, be a part of whatever, man, you got an open door.
Yeah.
You know, and that with that being said, man, men's truth is father figure.
Yeah.
And father figure is man's truth,
100%.
man. You know, and we definitely want to invite you into the brotherhood.
My boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Brotherhood. You know, so we thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
We thank you enough. Again, man, for just your story, man. I pray this touch millions.
Man, and listen, bro, the platform, and again, not to say I'm just, you know, big time, but the platform, the invitation, the you know, the Isaiah Williams of the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm huge on divine alignment, man. You know what I'm saying? So when God call you to do something and be somewhere, you show up. You know what I'm saying? So this is divine alignment, man. Like, you brothers are more than gracious, man. I appreciate y'all allowing me to be vulnerable because, you know, of course that's not my purpose when I get here.
Yeah.
But like I say, when you feel God in a place, man, like, you just let him use you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that brings some tears out, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I used to feel guilty about that. But being in safe spaces, man, is it's an honor and it's a pleasure, bro. And again, I appreciate y'all.
It's fire, man. You know, so of course, man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. You know, it's only right that hey, my song is finna go to my brother because I had another song, but I'm finna go ahead and ride with him, man. We give a song of each episode, and man, the song that you just said. Give the people the song, man. And I want y'all to go and lock in, man, and just let that thing ring and play and let it bless you, man. The song is...
It's applicable in every area, man. It's Marvin Winans, man. Is Draw Me Close. And, bro, you will not regret putting it in your rotation, man.
Yeah.
You will not regret it.
Yeah. Man.
We're gonna have to tap in later about that mentorship.
Man,
Yeah.
we locked in.
We got a lot of stuff going
We locked in.
We just
man.
came up with something like because
We locked in,
if you
baby.
don't jump on it, I promise you I am.
We locked
I'm gonna
in.
be on the campus near you. Like, man, y'all know y'all need some father figures up here.
Popping down from trees like
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
In class and everything.
Man, hey, as y'all can see, man, come and see us, man.
Yeah,
come and talk
come
to us.
see us.
Go in the comments, man. Tell us what you think about this episode. And again,
Yes.
like always, we thank y'all for tuning in. God bless you, and we up.